Hey knitting peeps, welcome or welcome back to my channel, Bo Peep Knits. My name is Lisa and today's video is another sip and knit episode where we sip our drinks, we knit our whips, and we just hang out. So I'm going to yap your ear off today about a show that has completely taken over my brain. I was a little late to the party, but I started watching The Summer I Turned Pretty when season 3 just started airing, and I managed to binge all of the available episodes in 3 days. Like, I, at my big age, was watching a show for teenagers, but it was just that good. A little bit about the show in case you've never watched it before, and disclaimer, this video may contain slight spoilers, so if you've never watched the show before, proceed with caution. But The Summer I Turned Pretty is about a girl named Conklin, also known as Belly. She and her family spend their summers in this fictional town called Cousins Beach, alongside her mother's best friend and her 2 sons. And they've spent every summer together. And so the story follows Belly as she navigates her first love, her first heartbreak, and just self-growth. With the show being called The Summer I Turned Pretty, obviously the show mainly takes place in the summer, so we don't see the main characters in knitwear all too much, but I thought it would still be fun to chat about the show, the characters, and what I would knit the characters of The Summer I Turned Pretty. So grab your sip, grab your knit, and let's get started. So I've set you guys up a little further back so you can see what I'm knitting up, which is the August sweater by Petite Knit. I'm using the Sandnes Garn Double Sunday in the colors bubblegum pink and red. My drink is over here. It's just sparkling water, lime flavor, in case you guys were curious. So let's start off with the main character of the show, Belly Conklin. We are first introduced to Belly when she was 15. And so her style was definitely more boyish and comfortable. She was seen in a lot of oversized t-shirts and denim cutoff shorts. So her style was very casual and laid back. And I think that reflects her childlike innocence. And it is a contrast to her upcoming transformation when she grows up a little bit in seasons 2 and 3. As the show progresses, so does Belly's wardrobe. So we see her in more fitted and feminine silhouettes, and this style evolution mirrors her personal growth and confidence. Although the show mainly takes place in the summer, we do catch glimpses of some of her sweaters throughout the seasons. And so we see her in a rainbow striped sweater, which I think is made of cotton. We also see her in a chunky knit with green and white stripes, a turquoise Fair Isle sweater, a sky blue cardigan with floral appliques, and a white cable sweater. I absolutely loved her season 3 outfits, especially during her Paris era. I really feel like Belly's style is much more refined and mature and classic during that time, and she wears so many cute sweaters that I want to knit up myself. So there are 2 things that I would knit up for Belly. The first one is for seasons 1 and 2 Belly. I would knit the Camellia cardigan by Knits Pour Moi, and the pattern calls for a sport weight yarn. I would end up going with the MAJO Garn Fine Merino in the colors Ivory for the base, Anemone for the flowers, which is a cute little lavender color, and soft gray for the Fair Isle details. The cardigan features a beautiful Fair Isle and floral pattern, which I think would go really well with the outfits that she would wear in seasons 1 and 2. And I can definitely see Belly wearing that cardigan in all 4 seasons. For season 3 Belly, especially during the Paris era, I would knit for her the Ullin Knitwear Flurry Sweater using the recommended yarns. Now, this sweater is a bit on the pricey side because all of the yarn that is used for the flurry sweater is from Isager but we're just gonna go ahead with it because it is just so cute. And I think that Belly would rock it during her Paris era. So the main color of the flurry sweater that I would knit for Belly would be in the Isager Eco Soft in the color E6s, which is a peachy pink sort of color. And I would hold that with the Isager Soft Mohair in the color 62 Deep Pink. And the contrast color of this flurry sweater would be in a cream. So I would use the Isager Eco Soft yarn again, and I would hold that with the Isager Soft Mohair, and both of the yarn would be in the color E0. So this cozy, chunky knit in this beautiful peachy pink tone, accented with this creamy soft white, would be absolutely perfect for Belly. And I'm just looking at these yarns. I feel like I want to knit one up myself, honestly. Let's move on to Conrad Fisher. So Conrad's style remains pretty consistent throughout the whole series, understated but classic. So we see him in a lot of basics like hoodies and overshirts and t-shirts and occasionally sweaters. And we see him in muted tones most of the time. So think navy, gray, deep red, and olive colors. And I think these colors just perfectly suit his introspective and grounded personality. For a man who resides in California, he has quite the sweater collection. We see him in so many sweaters, like this intricate Fair Isle cable combination, this half zip that reminds me of the petite knit zipper sweater. We also see him in this lightweight medium gray sweater, this olive green cabled sweater. There's also this forest green sweater that we see him in, and it kind of reminds me of the petite knit Moby sweater. We also see him in this navy textured sweater. This guy has so many sweaters, and honestly, I am here for it. One sweater that is absolutely perfect for Connie Baby is the Ingrid sweater by Petite Knit. I think that Conrad has a soft spot for textured knits, and he doesn't really have anything in his closet that resembles the pattern that is in the Ingrid sweater. So I think that it is something that he really would enjoy. The pattern calls for a DK weight yarn, and for him, I would choose something really, really special. So we're gonna go with the Cardiff Cashmere Classic in the shade Piombo. So it's a lightly marled gray color. And I think this lighter tone of gray would really allow the textured pattern in the sweater to shine. And gray is a versatile enough color for Conrad to wear every single day. Our Connie Baby deserves the best of the best. And I truly believe that he would be the only character that would appreciate and take care of this luxury knit. So that's why he is the only person that I'm knitting a cashmere sweater for. On to the next brother, Jeremiah Fisher. Now, love him or hate him, I would say that he has one of the better fashion styles on the show. It has definitely improved since season 1. Mostly because he was shirtless 95% of the time, and my yarn is tangled. So he spends most of the show shirtless in season 1, but the other 5% of the time he was wearing either his lifeguard uniform. Sorry, just give me a second. I have to untangle this. And the other 5%, he was either wearing his lifeguard uniform or he was wearing very questionable fashion choices, like whatever this is. In season 2 and season 3, he definitely got a lot better, mostly because he was actually wearing shirts and shirts with collars and sleeves. Jeremiah is quite the polarizing character. I personally am not the biggest Jeremiah fan, but I do recognize that he is flawed like all of us and like all of the other characters on the show. I originally was going to skip him altogether, but we're going to give him some grace. And so I am going to knit Jeremiah something. So I would go with the Boyfriend Slipover by Tiffany Liu, which is knitted up in a worsted weight yarn. And the reason why I picked the Boyfriend Slipover is because it is quite similar to something that Jer already owns in his closet. I am going to give Jeremiah a bit of grace, but your girl's still a little bit petty, so I'm going to be choosing a yarn that is a tiny bit rustic for our boy, and so we're gonna have to knit this up in the Sandnes Garn Pure Gynt in the color Natural Tutti Frutti, and I'm going to hold it with the Hobbii Friends Kids Silk in the color Off-White. Honestly, this is such a cute colorway that I kind of want to knit a Boyfriend Slipover with this yarn combo myself. So if I get my hands on the Natural Tutti Frutti colorway, just watch out. But yeah, this yarn is not super rustic. Like, I felt it before. I haven't knitted it up yet, so I don't know how it wears and how it is next to skin. But the yarn isn't too rustic. So, and Jeremiah will be wearing a t-shirt underneath anyway, so he's gonna be okay, guys. Like, don't worry, I'm not totally evil. Time to knit up something for Taylor Jewel, Belly's best friend. Taylor's style has always been fun, flirty, and colorful. We see her be really experimental with her style in the first 2 seasons, and I feel like season 3 is when she finally figures out what she really likes. I couldn't pick one piece to knit for Taylor, so I'm going to have to go with 2. The first thing that I would knit for Taylor would be the Heartless Top by Midsummer Knits. I think that it's such a bold, romantic piece that showcases how big of a heart she has, underneath all of the sarcasm and eye rolls. The pattern calls for a DK weight yarn. Originally, it is knit up with merino wool, but I can totally see this being a summer knit for Taylor, so I'm going to have to go with the Sandnes Garn Line yarn in the color Blossom, which is a hot peachy coral pink. The second thing that I would knit for Taylor would be the First Flirt Skirt by Wool and Beyond. I think that the pattern is just so perfectly named and so perfect for Taylor. So the First Flirt Skirt calls for an Aran weight cotton yarn. I would knit this up in the Sandnes Garn Tykk Line though, in the color Lilac. The color combo of peachy coral pink with lilac purple is superior. You cannot convince me otherwise, and I think that Taylor would rock that fit. The next character that we're knitting for is Stephen Conklin, Belly's older brother. And like all the other characters on the show, Stephen undergoes a style transformation as well. In seasons 1 and 2, we see him in a lot of graphic tees, but in season 3, his style is much more mature and neutral. We almost always see him in a suit, and when he's off work, his style is more classic and casual with muted colors. Except for this purple number that I'm not the biggest fan of. For Stephen, I would knit up a classic raglan sweater, like the Northland sweater by Petite Knits, with the Sandnes Garn Tweed recycled yarn in the color Wine Red. I can totally see Stephen rocking this sweater while working or running errands, or even on a date night with Taylor. Lastly, we have Laurel Park and Susannah Fisher. You can't talk about one without mentioning the other. They are inseparable in my brain, and I think that their styles are actually quite complementary of each other. Laurel is the calm and grounded one, so we often see her in earth tones, soft linens, and simple and classic styles. What I've noticed is that Laurel, more often than not, when she is with Susannah, she's wearing the darker color, and Susannah is usually the one wearing white. I find that this color imagery is very interesting, as if to suggest that they are yin and yang, and I think that that color imagery is reflective of their relationship on the show. Susannah, on the other hand, has a much more free-spirited, bohemian, and feminine style, and so we see her in a lot of dresses and florals and light fabrics and soft colors. So what would I knit for these two characters? For Laurel, I'd knit the Cumulus blouse by Petite Knits. It's a classic, light, airy sweater that she could easily throw on at the beach or at home, and it also looks a lot like the sweater that she wears on the show in season 1. My yarn choice for the Cumulus blouse would be the Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair, held double in the color Dusty Artichoke. And that color is so popular for all the right reasons, and I think that Laurel would look so beautiful with that dusty, sagey green color. For Susannah, I would knit for her the Tender Leaves Cardi by Masha Ziablikova. I think Susannah would really appreciate the beautiful, intricate details of this cardigan, and so I would choose to knit this up with the Derehun Natural Berenice yarn in the color Avion. I think Susannah would look so beautiful, angelic, and ethereal in this cardigan, and it is absolutely perfect for her. So that's it for today's video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel if you want more videos like this. So until we see each other next time, happy knitting!